Good day to you all. Welcome to our online learning channel. Today we are looking at a lesson on transactional texts, specifically diaries, diary entries, constitution or policy. This is our term 2 work for weeks 1 and 2, grade 9 English. Our objectives for this lesson: by the end of this lesson, we must be able to explain what transactional writing is. We must be able to give examples of transactional texts, and we must also be aware of their formats. We must be able to employ process writing towards writing a transactional text. Those are objectives for this lesson. What is transactional writing? Maybe that is the first question we need to interact with. Transactional writing is a piece of writing which has a practical and a communicative purpose. Practical and communicative are our keywords. So we need to take note of the purpose of that piece of writing. Practically so, and what we need to also communicate in that piece of writing. We'll be seeing an example as we go along. Transactional writing also has a specific format. In this slide, we can say it is functional writing, which follows guidelines strictly. Unlike just mere creative writing, which allows us to write on a topic and just be as creative as we wish. But in this transactional writing, we need to follow guidelines, follow a format, and make sure that the work is practical and communicative. In transactional writing also, there is specific register, which is informed by our audience. For instance, there, we are going to look at an example of an informal letter. We have written informal letters before, and I'm sure we all remember informal letters, which we sometimes refer to as friendly letters. An informal letter, there it says, write a letter to your friend, requesting him or her to visit you during the December holidays. That would be the instruction for a transactional piece of writing, which is informal letter. Right, I want you to look at this guideline carefully, or this question carefully. Therefore, in the light of what we have been given as our instruction to write a letter to a friend, we strictly have to follow the instructions. Our audience is a friend, which means we are writing a letter to a friend. We cannot write to any other person. We cannot write to a brother because the instruction has said write to a friend. Right, in addition, what is the purpose of this letter? What are we communicating in this letter? It will be none other than requesting your friend to visit you in December, not in June, but during the December holidays. And the format of this letter will be that of an informal letter. Remember, an informal letter has your address, then your salutation, you write your letter, and you are going to end it by signing off your friend. Then you write your name. So notice that this letter has to be practical, it has to be communicative according to the instruction given. That is what transactional writing does. It doesn't allow us to move out of the guidelines, but rather to remain within and communicate accordingly as per instruction. That is key. Note there, even if it's an informal letter, slang is not allowed, because this work is still going to be marked by your teacher or your examiner. Very, very important. Take note of that. Slang is a no-go area. Then we are going to look at our examples of transactional text. We have already indicated above there that we have diaries, we have a constitution or a policy. Those are some of the examples of transactional text, but I have added onto the list letters, formal and informal. We have already spoken about an informal letter being a transactional text. We also have reports. Reports most probably you are asked to write a report on what happened during break time when someone was beaten. Write a report as an RCL. Dialogues, you engage in a dialogue between yourself and your friend. Then write that dialogue. Those are examples of transactional text. Or an obituary, someone has died, or maybe a very close family member has died, and you are asked to write their obituary. That's the function of this text. Write an obituary. You must know how to do that. Reviews. You have visited a certain restaurant and they want you to write a review. Or you have read a certain novel, now write a review of this novel. Minutes of meetings. Sometimes you become a secretary in a certain board, then you must be able to write minutes of a meeting. And the most common one, which is going to come when you are looking for a job or for whatever reason you want to write your curriculum vitae, which is your CV. That is also an example of a transactional text. It's not all of them that I've listed there, but those are some of the examples of transactional texts. They follow strict formats and register. Take note of that. And do visit your textbooks to check the formats and acquaint yourself with those formats. Right, we are going to move on to the next part of our lesson, which will focus on a diary entry specifically, because the diary entry is one of the particular examples which we need to look at in this term. What is a diary entry? I know most of us know because we do keep diaries. It is a record of personal experiences, be it good or bad, our thoughts and our emotions. Sometimes some of us find comfort in keeping diaries. They keep us going. A diary entry, right? Let's look at the format of a diary entry. Right, before we go through a diary entry, right, I just want you to note that a diary entry may be given a specific name. Some people want to be creative around their diary entries, and they may give it a name of Pinky, whereas that is Mary's diary. Right. Right. First of all, when you are to write a diary, you need to indicate the day and the date. For instance, day, Monday, date 25 May 2020. Say that is your date. Indicate it first before you start writing your diary. And then we move on to your salutation. Dear Diary is the most common one. Or Dear Pinky if your diary has this specific name. Then you write in first person. First person, I, me, my, mine. For what reason? Because the diary entry expresses personal experiences. Therefore, it's important for you to write in first person. You will write also in present tense. Present tense allows you to capture the moment. Right? You may write in past tense if you are to link the past events. Your paragraphs will be the structure of your diary in paragraph form, but allow your paragraphs to be short and to the point, and use simple sentences to pace your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. Use emotive language, emotive verbs to express your feelings, be it is your fear, your anxiety, your excitement. Please use that emotive language to express those feelings. Use appropriate punctuation marks to express emotions as well. Appropriate punctuation marks such as exclamation to show your excitement. And the tone of your diary must be sincere. It must not sound so far-fetched. It must be closely related to you. Hence, maybe we use a first person, and as it were, it's a true reflection of your experiences, your thoughts, and your emotions. Therefore, make it sound sincere. Use the appropriate tone. And finally, follow the instructions or guidelines carefully. I may not overemphasize that. Once you do not follow instructions or guidelines in a transactional text, whatever transactional text, then you lose it because you will not fulfill the practical communicative function of that text. Follow the instructions carefully, read them carefully, and then you work on your diary entry. Then we have also as one of our transactional texts for this term, constitution. What is a constitution? It is a body of main or fundamental principles established according to how an organization is run. You may think of many organizations that could be formed. Let's think of a simple one, maybe a youth organization in your community. Right. So you want to indicate the fundamental principles of this youth organization via a constitution. Right, let's look at the format of a constitution. Right, first of all, you need to write the name of the organization. The name of the organization. Say you have given your youth organization a name, Siakula, meaning we are growing. Its abbreviation name also you need to indicate first before you go down the constitution. The name must be stated clearly. So, state the purpose of this organization. For instance, your organization would be maybe to conscientize the youth of drug abuse, or to empower the youth in terms of entrepreneurship. Those could be the purposes of your organization. And then you write the rules on membership. Who is eligible to join this organization? Is it only the young people of a certain age, or you allow the older people also to join as sponsors? So state your rules on membership clearly, so that whoever wants to join it, they know the rules around membership. Then you state the general rules of the organization. In order for an organization to run, there must be ground rules. Rules may be pertaining the attendance of meetings. Punctuality may be one of those issues which appear to be petty but very much important. Or the meetings, how many times you meet. You may think of many rules around your organization, those rules which will make the organization stand. Then you can use formal language, of course, because this is a constitution. It must be very formal. And the structure of a constitution is in paragraph form and detailed. That is how you will write a constitution. Right, we want to look at an activity which is going to enlighten us more on transactional tax. The activity is based on a diary entry. You are out with your parents on a holiday, including your best friend. That is during the December holiday. Write a diary entry on how you spent your holiday. Right, before we look at how we are going to answer or work on that activity, it's important for us to identify our keywords around that question. First of all, the people who are out on holiday, it's a holiday, and you know they are your parents and your friend, and it's only in December, not any other time. And you are writing a diary entry, just one, on how you spent your holiday, which means the entire holiday from when it began until it ended. Right. You may not just maybe choose a few days, but look generally over the whole holiday. So that is going to inform your content of the diary entry. Right. Before you start writing the diary entry, you look at the writing process. What do you do first? Number one, you brainstorm. What do we mean by brainstorming? We mean you put down all relevant points in whatever order. As they come to your mind, you just write them down. And then you move on to number two, mind map. Right, a mind map will now allow you to group your points, arrange them accordingly. Say you have 5 or say 10 points from your brainstorming. You just put them down randomly. And now what are you going to do? You are going to put them in order. Say your number 1 point and your number 5 point are related. Then you want to choose them in your paragraph 1. Then you are going to put them maybe under your first box, or whatever art you want to put around but making sure that the related points are sorted out. And you know you are going to have maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs, you put points in order. You are sorting them out. A map must make you or take you to the right place. So in other words, now that you have put your points in order, you are ready to start drafting. Remember, when we draft, we may make mistakes, but we write the whole diary entry. And as we write the whole diary entry, we are going to make sure that then we edit it. When we edit it, what are we looking out for? Whatever mistakes we could have made, mistakes on spelling, tense, punctuation, paragraphing, you name it. Look out for those mistakes. Edit and make sure your work is up to standard. That is when you are editing. Then you move to your final presentation. The final presentation is error-free. The final presentation has no mistake because you have made sure that you edited your work. So that is the process we follow when we write. It's the same old obvious one. But remember to go through the process, making sure that you eliminate whatever mistake which you could have made, and then present your final piece neatly so. Right, let's look at the diary entry that we will come up with after going through the writing process. Tuesday, 20 December. That will be our date. Then we move down to salutation. Dear diary. Right, dear diary, I had a very interesting holiday. Remember the content of our diary entry. It has to do with a holiday. And we are already addressing that. I will never forget those sunny days on the beach. I truly enjoyed myself, and I'm so sad the holiday is over. So you can tell the emotions, you can see how the person felt about the holidays. At first, I thought the holiday will be dead boring with my parents around. Can you imagine spending holidays with those old-fashioned people? I think, as it were, most of us, we don't like our parents around when we're enjoying ourselves. We think they are going to be that wet blanket, but not now. That is being sincere. The diary entry shows the sincerity of how this person feels. And sometimes we think they are too old-fashioned. We cannot be seen moving around with them. But then not there, the diary goes on, I was mistaken. My parents allowed Mpo, my best friend, and I freedom. And we had such fun. We met so many interesting people and made new friends. However, this is coming to an end, and I must face reality at home. It has been amazing to spend the holiday with my friend. So tomorrow we part ways. So that is now the holiday is coming to an end, and the diary now is coming to an end, right? Not like one who is speaking to a friend. You will indicate now, bye for now, bye for now, and then that will be the end of the diary entry, right? You will end it that way. You conclude it that way, right? We come to the conclusion of our lesson. What is important for us to note? What is important is that when you're writing a transactional text, always remember to check the following: the guidelines. Check, have I followed the instructions? If you do not follow the instructions, you will not fulfill the communicative purpose of this text. It will be as good as you are writing on a topic and you are just out of topic. It will not fulfill the function. Therefore, it ceases to be functional at all. Check the guidelines or your instructions carefully. Format. Have I used the correct format? Acquaint yourself with your formats and use them appropriately. The audience. Check, to whom am I writing? If you are to write to a friend, you cannot write to a brother. That also will defeat the purpose of this text. Write to the correct person. Then the purpose. What is the content of this piece of writing? What should I include? You are writing a diary entry, say, for instance, about your December holidays. You cannot write a diary entry about your fears of failing an exam. That will be out of order because you have not been given such an instruction. And the register. You will check, have I used the correct language according to my audience and my content? Then you use the appropriate register. But bearing in mind, slang is a no-go area. And all in all, you need to use conjunctions such as but, also, etc., to allow the flow of your ideas, the link of your paragraphs in simpler terms that allows you coherence. That is all for today. And I want to believe we have learned so much about our transactional work. Good day for now.